The day he arrived in Lagos, he felt as though a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. His mother welcomed him with open arms. "My son is finally home." She hugged him tightly. Femi smiled. "I missed home, Mom." His father walked into the living room moments later. "Corper Femi." Femi laughed. "Dad." The older man pulled him into a hug. "Welcome back." For the first time in months, Femi felt completely at peace. No village, no responsibilities, no rumors, no pregnancy. Nothing. Just home. And slowly, he convinced himself that everything that happened in Ondo was behind him. He never imagined Anu would keep the pregnancy. In his mind, she would eventually move on, just as he had. And so, life continued. Back in the village, Anu's life became harder with each passing day. 3 weeks had passed since Femi denied responsibility for Anu's pregnancy and returned to Lagos. Yet every morning, Anu still woke up hoping her phone would ring, hoping he would call, hoping he would remember all the promises he had made beneath the mango tree behind the school. But the phone never rang. The messages remained unanswered. And with every passing day, reality became harder to ignore. Corper Femi was gone, and he was not coming back. One morning, Anu sat quietly behind the house, struggling with another wave of nausea. She held her stomach and tried to steady her breathing. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. It was Mama Rita. The woman stood there with her hands on her waist. "Anu." "Yes, Auntie." "You are vomiting again." Anu looked away. Mama Rita's face hardened. "So it is true." Tears immediately filled Anu's eyes.
After everything, after all the sacrifices.
"I'm sorry."
"Sorry? Will sorry feed a child?"
Anu lowered her head. Her silence was answer enough. Mama Rita owned a tiny grocery shop. The shelves were lined with bags of rice, beans, gari, noodles, spaghetti, salt, and other food items. Business was barely enough to feed the household. And every day, Mama Rita reminded Anu of it.
"You know things are expensive. Food doesn't fall from heaven. I already have enough problems, and now there is another child coming."
Anu lowered her head. Deep down, she knew Mama Rita was struggling too. But the constant reminders hurt. As her pregnancy advanced, Anu stopped going to school completely. Every morning, she watched students pass by her compound. Girls she once sat beside in class. Girls discussing exams. Girls talking about university. Girls planning their future. Meanwhile, her own future felt uncertain. Sometimes she stood behind the fence and watched them until they disappeared down the road. Then she quietly wiped away her tears. The mocking never stopped. One afternoon, while returning from the market, she passed a group of girls her age. One of them smiled sarcastically.
Our wife! Our wife, when are you traveling to Lagos?
Anu kept walking. She didn't answer. She had learned that sometimes silence hurts less than arguments. But once she got home, she cried. Not because of the girls. Because she remembered how happy she used to feel when Femi's friends called her that. Back then, it sounded like a promise. Now it sounded like a punishment. The only person who truly stood by Anu was her best friend, Bisi. Bisi never judged her, never mocked her, never abandoned her. Sometimes Bisi would save part of her lunch. Sometimes she would buy food from her mother's restaurant, then secretly meet Anu near an abandoned classroom behind the school. One afternoon, Bisi arrived carrying a small flask. Anu smiled weakly. "What is inside?" "Jollof rice." Anu's eyes widened. "Bisi, eat first." Anu opened the flask. The aroma alone nearly made her cry. The food disappeared within minutes. Bisi watched quietly. "You haven't been eating well." Anu forced a smile. "I'm fine." "No, you're not." Anu looked away. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Bisi reached for her hand. One day, this suffering will end. Anu wanted to believe her. She really did. Months later, labor began. It was a long and painful night. The entire compound remained awake. Mama Rita paced nervously. Even Rita looked worried. For hours, Anu screamed in pain. Then finally, the cries of newborn babies filled the room. Twins, a boy and a girl. The room erupted with excitement. Mama Rita rushed forward. Oh my God! The boy looked exactly like Femi. The resemblance was impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, the little girl had Anu's eyes, smile, and face. For the first time in months, Anu smiled genuinely. She held both babies tightly and silently promised herself something. No matter how difficult life became, she would never abandon them, the way their father abandoned her. But children came with responsibilities, and responsibilities came with expenses. Milk, Medicine, clothes, food. The little money available disappeared quickly. One evening, while staring at the twins sleeping beside her, Anu reached for the phone Femi had once given her. The same phone she once treasured. The same phone she used to wait for his calls. She stared at it for a long time. Then tears rolled down her cheeks. The next morning, she sold it. The money bought food. For her children. Not for herself. The months turned into a year. Life became a daily struggle. Some days, she washed piles of clothes for people. Other days, she cleaned houses. Sometimes, she washed plates for food vendors. Sometimes, she ran errands. Sometimes, she spent hours under the hot sun doing jobs nobody wanted. And often, people paid her far less than they promised. But she endured. Because every evening, 2 little faces were waiting for her. One of her regular customers was Madame Bibi, an elderly widow who lived alone. Every Saturday, Anu cleaned her house from top to bottom. She swept, mopped, cooked, went to the market, prepared a large pot of soup that lasted Madame Bibi the entire week. Over time, Madame Bibi grew fond of her. The older woman admired her honesty, her dedication, her patience, and most importantly, her loyalty. One Saturday afternoon, after Anu finished cooking, Madame Bibi sat watching her. Then she smiled. Anu. Yes, ma. You are a good girl. Anu smiled shyly. Madame Bibi continued. My younger sister lives in Lagos. Anu stopped stirring the soup. Lagos? Yes. She is looking for someone trustworthy. Anu stared. Madame Bibi nodded. I recommended you. For a moment, Anu thought she had heard wrongly. Me? Yes. Tears immediately filled her eyes. Madame Bibi smiled warmly. I already told her about your children. Anu's expression changed. And she said the children won't be a problem. Anu covered her mouth. She couldn't believe it. For the first time in years, hope returned. Real hope. That evening, Anu carried her twins and walked home. Her heart raced with excitement. 100 possibilities filled her mind. Lagos. A new beginning. A better future. Maybe her children would finally have a chance. Maybe everything was about to change. As she approached the compound, she could already see Mama Rita sitting outside with Rita. Anu smiled. She couldn't wait to share the news. What she didn't know was that moments earlier, someone had arrived with a letter. A letter carrying news that would change Rita's life forever. And unknowingly, bring Rita one step closer to Corper Femi.